Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Reef Life with myself, Dutch Reefer. So another week has passed and quite a lot of changes. So as you might notice from the get-go is that my cabinet has moved to the right of the tank instead of the left. And that's because this whole space has been freed up where there usually was a very big chunky tank. There is now a lot of room and a lot of space. As you can see, got some equipment left from the old tanks, which I'm selling. That frees up a lot of space for the big reef tank, for the reefer. After removing the big tank from my home, so it has come off in pieces, and now it's time to focus all my energy on this new reef, which of course now has to grow, and I have to keep it stable for the coming months until it matures, because of course I realize that it's still very early in the process and that this tank has to go through a lot of stages to fully thrive. But that's fine. I mean, that's what we're here for. That's the hobby. I can completely focus on this tank now, so that's great. A couple of changes, a couple of things I want to mention, but let's first take a look at the fish. I just threw in some mastic, which is of course a great food to keep the fish entertained. They also particularly like it. The mastic food is produced by Easy Reefs. I have fed this food for a couple of years now, and never ceases to amaze me since the fish really like it. And even the new COPPERBAND, which never has eaten this before. It's the first time I'm adding this into the new tank. After a couple of minutes, it directly knew what to do and how to nibble on it, and hasn't stopped eating it since. So it's also a nice opportunity to show you this beautiful new fish in its full glory. Despite the fact that it's still pretty small, it's already looking the part, and really great to see how it does in the tank. It took a couple of days to get used to the tank, and now it's completely up there, and slowly getting used to the Reef Life, as we call this series. So. So all in all, I think the tank is starting to come together. The scape is, I'm pretty pleased with how the scape has turned out to be. You might see that the light is switching from blue to purple a bit still. It's because I'm using a yellowish lens, and that causes the image to flicker a bit. Also due to the fact that it's still in the morning, the lights are still pretty blue. It still has to come on full daylight mode. But well, you get the idea that the tank, what the tank looks like. One thing I really like is that this cataphilia in the back here, elegance coral, it's behind the COPPERBAND. But as you can see, it's really beautiful. It was already beautiful in my nano tank. I created this spot specifically for this coral, so because I wanted it to be able to fully extend without touching other coral. And that's what it does right now. That's really great to see that something you think of also actually works out, which is nice, of course. And then here in the back there's a blue coral. I always forget the name, but if I get it into my mind, it's Sesputillaria, by the way. There it is. And as you can see, the small emerald crab that I've added 1.5 weeks ago, it was pretty lonely in the back of the tank for a week, and now since Friday evening, it has chosen this coral as its host. So that's really great to see. I might actually get it a bit to the front in time once it got used to it, so I can see it more. But even back there, it's just beautiful to see this little crab doing its thing and just filtering the water, especially now that there's mastic in the tank. Of course, that releases little particles, and then the porcelain crab will definitely get a hold of that. So I also did my first water parameter measurements today, which came out pretty nice. The carbonate, the KH, is around 8. The calcium is a bit high at 500, and the magnesium is perfect at 1700 or 1470. Apologies. So that's just under the 1500 mark. I always like to run my tanks a bit high on magnesium, so I'm comfortable with it as it is. It might be a little higher as well. Of course, calcium needs to come down a bit, so I'll dose just a little bit less. And then nutrient-wise, the nitrates are around 5. So that's sorry, apologies. The nitrates are around 5. So that's actually pretty perfect for this tank, as it's a mixed reef, and the phosphates are around 0.2, which are tad high for my liking. Then again, already a lot less high than it was before in my previous tanks. So, but I'll just adjust the vodka and vinegar dosing to make sure that that I keep it in check. Got some frags right here on the frag rack, which are also slowly growing into corals. Just some small pieces of coral that I took with me from my old tank, which I decided to put on here. A lot of Ricordea mushrooms as well. As you can see, I can show you a bit better now since the big tank has gone and the cabinet has moved. Of course, these are some really pretty ones as well. So a golden one and a pretty bright orange one here. The other ones are kind of more standard, but still, even calling them standard, they're pretty amazing pieces of coral. But I got quite a lot of them. So here's another rock. Here's another rock, and then the biggest rock isn't even in plain sight. I'll move to the other side of the tank real quickly to show it to you. It's right here. I decided to put it here to cover up the PVC that I'm using for the ribbon eel, and there's I think like 20 more on there. Also really like these rock anemones, which one of them is here. It's pretty bland in colors, or simple, just orange with a bit of gray at the edges, but it looks nice. And then this one, which has already attached itself to the bottom of the tank, which is slightly more beautiful with a bright green mouth. And then yeah, I think I showed you this last week already, so it's been here for a week now. Also looking good with the polyps extending a little bit, as you can see. The video should be in 4K, so I think you should get a reasonably good view of all the corals and fish in here in this video. So I'll quickly move along the tank just to give you a little bit of an idea what's inside now. This turbinaria is also one that I recently got, which I really like, especially the shape. So I can't see to wait how this grows into a full chalice. This small piece of acropora, which has been in my tanks for a long time, hopefully that can now actually thrive a bit. And then here some more softer corals, and this chalice, which has sustained quite some damage because it was in the shade in my nano tank, and now it has the potential to really shine again and to hopefully repair itself on the left back part. But yeah, we'll see how that goes, and if it returns back to its beautiful previous state. Then there are some corals from my nano that you might recognize on here, because this is the reef pillar that I took with me from my nano tank with this beautiful I think this is also a turbinaria, but then a different kind of turbinaria, which I really like for the bright green color. It's a little bit oversaturated because of the yellow lens, so if I zoom out a bit, you'll see it. This is more realistic the way it looks, but still it's a pretty bright and beautiful coral, which is finally showing polyps again. So I'm fairly confident that this will grow and keep growing and produce some beautiful frags. Still some ectasia in the tank, so as you can see right here in the center of the screen, while the ribbon eel is peeking out of its PVC pipes. It's regarding the ectasia, the COPPERBAND is of course the one that should take care of that. It already nibbled some smaller ones, so I'm confident that once it grows, it will also take out the bigger ones. And of course, I can use some Ectasia X, which I have in my cabinet, to remove the bigger ones, or at least damage them enough to stop spreading. Regarding the eel, some people ask me, why have you built a PVC piping system for it? It should actually use the sand. You should add more sand to the tank, and then it can use that. So I think that can work as well, but I've actually done quite a lot of research, and I think PVC pipes make them feel pretty comfortable, and I haven't seen a single bit of stress in this eel, in this tank, since I've added it, apart from the first day, of course, where everything was still new. So I think that it has really, well, it's really doing well in the pipes. It eats well, yeah, no worries there for now. And of course, I've already kept it for 2 years in my tank, so it's quite adapted to tank life and the way it is. So the video is already past the 10-minute mark. I'll give you a quick view in the sump before heading off again and watching the Formula 1 race this afternoon in Monza. A little bit of reorganization in the sump cabinet here. It's still not looking as it should. There's still a lot of cables hanging around, but then again, now it's just cleaning them up and organizing them with some binders. I did add the ice cap battery backup, which was in my big tank. That's also one of the reasons that I did decide to replace the Narrows, the AI Narrows, with my Maxspect Gyres, which are actually quite huge and are running at just 10%. Otherwise, the water will be flowing all the way over the front end of the tank, but as they dial in, their capacity will slightly decrease, and I can perhaps put it at 20 or 30% without creating air bubbles or flowing over. But as you can see, the laminar flow really does this tank good. It's really great to see the flow going around the tank in a quite a varied way, which makes the corals and the fish happy as they can be. So yeah, that's why I replaced the AI Narrows, because they're not compatible with this battery backup, and creating a battery backup by myself was a bit tricky. I'm not an electrician, so I thought that was a bit big of a risk to take. I hung up the controllers at the side of the tank, one here or two here and one here, the dosing pump, of course, and now it's just tidying up the cables to make everything look pretty. And then yeah, the sump area hasn't changed, it's still running well. The skimmer is really doing well. The ReefMat also very effective in keeping the water clean. And yeah, I think that's it for now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the little bit of more of a detailed look that I gave of this tank. If you want to see other things, or if there's other subjects that you would like to have discussed in these videos, please feel free to leave a message in the comments. Other than that, please feel free to subscribe and like this video. That will help with the YouTube algorithm to get this channel some more attention. Yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Have a great week ahead of you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.